So, what is a sicko? What was Tony Khan implying when he said, I'm a sicko and I cater to the sickos? Well, we're going to get into it and we're going to talk about it because I don't believe there's a lot of people talking about it. And, this is something that I believe needs to be said. And I had alluded to it in other videos, like the one I put up here where I'm trying to understand Tony Khan, and the other one where I'm talking about Ricochet possibly leaving to go to the AEW. A large portion of that video was dedicated to where I feel the culture of AEW is going and the culture of the WWE is going, and if they did a roster swap where they took some talent from AEW and threw it to the WWE and took some talent from the WWE and threw it to the AEW. But now we're going to isolate this sicko comment, and I'm going to try to define it in as few words as possible. So here we go. A sicko is a wrestling fan opposed to anything that is closely resembling a WWE product. Examples for that would be Combat Zone Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Game Changer Wrestling, even the NWA. I mean, in some respects, from what I can gather, Tony Khan is trying to be the true alternative to beat the WWE machine. And I doubt very seriously he can win like this because so many people have been conditioned to look at wrestling through a WWE lens, myself included. I grew up, the first thing I ever watched as far as wrestling as 3 years old was Hulk Hogan body slamming Andre the Giant in the Pontiac Silverdome, dude, in front of 75,000 people, brother. Like, that is what I grew up watching. So it was hard sometimes to watch WCW. It was so different. It was the true alternative. They looked at wrestling through a different lens. In the WWE at the time, it was superheroes. Everything was a universe and everybody was larger than life. And they had these weird, interesting characters that they looked like superheroes. In WCW, it was about the wrestlers. It was Arn Anderson and Sid and Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat and Steve Austin. And they had these personas and these auras, but they were the rooting of all of that was in the aspect of professional wrestling and having great matches. Rick Rude, guys like that. So with the WWF, they have programmed a generation now that is coming up to look at wrestling as far as build-up and storytelling, is there's got to be some kind of a soap opera aspect. There's got to be some drama there. And I find myself rolling into that as well. With AEW, I go, man, why couldn't they have done it this way? Why can't they do it that way? But I don't believe Tony Khan is trying to cater to the WWF type of or WWE type of fan. I believe he's looking for a small niche wrestling fan that doesn't want their wrestling to resemble the WWE in any way. And he's catering to that audience. And honestly, I believe it's driving potential viewers and casual viewers away from the product, because wrestling is and has always been synonymous with the WWE. So it's an exercise in futility at this point to try to win a war that way by drawing those fans out of that type of a mindset that they've been programmed in for so long and into a new mindset that is mostly catered on fans that have patience, understand that there's a story within a match without it being told in front of them and played out for months on end. Like in New Japan Pro Wrestling, where there is a match between two rivals, they tell the story within the match. When you're watching the WWE, they tell the story and then you see the match. Two different types of storytelling. And here's the thing that's going to make it really confusing, and I'm trying to figure out a way to make this translate to everyone. I'm going to say this: some of the things that the WWE has incorporated from wrestling, from the southern side of professional wrestling, from the legacy standpoint of professional wrestling, they've incorporated. So there is a little bit of USWA. There's a little bit of Jim Crockett Promotions. There's a little bit of the UWF. There's a little bit of old school WCW within the mix. So the conditioning from the new fans is they're accustomed to WWE being this type of a product that has taken and been influenced by the things around them. What Tony Khan is trying to do is do that with New Japan Pro Wrestling, which I'm telling you, it requires a certain palate, a certain taste from wrestling fans it's an acquired taste. And I just don't see a lot of American fans being that apt to that type of a taste and being drawn to it at a large number, the way that fans have been accustomed to and easily digested the WWE way of telling stories. And with Triple H at the helm, I feel like we are getting a little bit of a new form of storytelling with Triple H. Paul Levesque era, the PLE, he is showing us a more patient, patented, cerebral way of telling stories that kind of harkens back to the old school way of doing things. I see a lot of old school influence from the 80s and 90s in what Triple H is doing with his storytelling. That is also requiring Tony Khan to pivot a little bit, because Tony Khan at the time when he first started AEW, I started to see storytelling from his perspective done in a very similar way. And so now he's trying to pivot and, in my opinion, trying not to be WWE light in that regard by doing the very thing that he started doing when he got in the company that I'm sure Cody Rhodes had an influence in as well. So with Cody Rhodes not there anymore, he's really going all in this New Japan Pro Wrestling style and Game Changer Wrestling, Combat Zone Wrestling to be the true alternative. Is it going to work? We will have to wait and see. But what do you guys think? Did I define Sickos correctly? Is that what you thought of when you heard the title Sickos? Were you even sure what he was saying? I'm not even sure I know what he was saying, but I thought I'd give it a shot. So you guys let me know in the comments what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for all those who have done it and continue to do it. Our community is growing every day. It's getting bigger and bigger, and I couldn't do it without you guys. And as always, thanks again, you guys, and I'll see you really soon.